Hi, this is Dominic Sputo, the maker of CsvDatabase. Today I'm proud to announce we now have async calls. So here we can gather a list and we can do a bulk insert with using the await, and this is going to run async. So we can bulk insert await, and you can see here we have this is an async MVC controller action, and we can now gather async data. We can insert, we can update, we can delete, we can insert one record. The difference is this is one record and this is a bulk insert. So this is inserting a list, inserting a list versus inserting one record. And finally we have here a data reader. It's running async. It does have this data reader does include a filter, which is very cool. So first name and Dominic, 2, Sky, Kelly, or Todd. It's going to look for each one of these, and then it's going to create a new list, and then it's going to use that for the actual model data to bind to our view. So I'm just going to run this real quick. Hit F5. And you can see here we got Dominic 2. This is the update. You can see here it started out with Dominic, Sky, and Kelly. Sky was deleted. You can see here Sky was deleted right here. This was updated. Dominic, it checked. It's not. It doesn't look. It's. You can see here this Dominic is not. It's not case sensitive when it looks. This is what it's checking for. First name equals Dominic, and then it will update with the new value Dominic 2 as the first name. That's how that works. You don't have to put, as you can see, you don't have to put, if you want to update the last name, you include the last name. You'd put the last name header here, and then you put that last name value there, and that you could change your last name too. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So if I wanted the last name to be Sputo 2, and then I would just put the filter last name, and then run it again, we'll get Sputo 2 as the last name. Dominic 2 and Sputo 2. See here? So we got one bulk insert, we got one update, we got one delete, we got one insert, and then we're using the data reader with the filter. Very powerful. So this should handle everything you need to do with using async. This is the new async code for CsvDatabase. So let me show you how this project works. So there is also there's a Windows form application here. If we go here, this is just it shows that you can do concurrent transactions here. We can set this as a startup project if we stop debug, set startup, and then just get into this. So here, these events are not running async on the Windows application. So if you want the actual code to run async, you can use the task.run, and this will just make it to where the application doesn't freeze. So if we were doing a lot of inserting and a lot of updating, the application doesn't freeze. So like if we insert, we update, you see how I'm able to, and then show data. Show data. So if I run this, see, data's changing. It's only 100 records. So this is a good way of showing how the data can change using CsvDatabase, and it doesn't tie up the Windows application. So you're able to utilize this um, these inserts and updates. You can delete too, and let's go ahead and go to our final project here. So we got a Windows project, we got a web project, which is MVC, and then we got a console application. We're going to set that as the startup project. And we'll go to the program. So here you can see a lot of code too. So there's this shows a lot of what you can do. You got insert one class. You can insert one class. You can insert a whole list right here. Insert list, and this is a bulk. This is a bulk insert. And then you can insert one class right here, one class at a time. That's kind of like this one, but this one's using a loop. You can truncate the file. This will remove all the data from the file, but it keeps the file around. This deletes the file. This inserts into the file. One record, one insert. This deletes. This updates. This is a data table. This is how you get a data table. This is a data table with the data types of the class. So the data types that match the CSV file, it will generate a data table with the correct data types. So if you needed to sort by an integer field inside that data table, it will sort as an integer would. And if it was a string, it would sort as a string would. Or if it was money or anything else. So this is data table 2, and this would have a data type of string. These data tables have a data type. All the columns of this data table are string. So that this one, it takes the class and it gets the data types. This one doesn't. It just defaults them all to string. This creates a list, a collection, a list of our generic list of customers. You can bind this to a data source. So like your data grid, you can bind this to a data grid. You can bind this to a repeater. You can bind this to a drop-down list. So this comes very in handy. It's a little bit quicker, I think, than the data table. You can bind the data table to a data grid or a repeater. This CSV data reader is the fastest, and you can get your data out. You cannot bind this data reader to a data source of data grid or repeater. It automatically closes itself. You can close it manually, but this automatically closes itself. This this is using also a data reader with a filter, first name in Dominic, Peter, or Joe. So these data readers do come with filters, which can come in handy. This data reader does not use a filter, so it's going to be reading all the data from that customer CSV file. So that's that's how everything here works. The final piece is the CSV database. This is the DLLs. So this is all the source code of the DLL. And there is breakpoints if you wanted to go through all of it. What you would do with this is if you make any changes, you just rebuild this DLL, rebuild, and then all these corresponding projects, they all have references. So you just right click, add reference, and you can see here this has CsvDatabase DLL attached to it, and you can see right here CsvDatabase. Alternatively, you could open this in the File Explorer and go to bin, debug, net standard 2. You could take this DLL and copy it and paste it and then use it. You can add a reference to these DLLs. That's how you could manually do it. Like I could right click and copy, and then I could paste them somewhere, and wherever you paste them, you just go to your project and you add a reference, and you would go to browse, and you would locate where the DLL is stored. So if you wanted to manually go to it, so here's where the DLL is stored. You would click it, and then you'd click add, and then that would add a reference to that DLL. So that should help you with everything. So this is your DLL project. This is a console application project. This is an MVC application, and this is a Windows application. So that should help you figure out the code for the MVC application is in the home controller. In case you want to define where the data is, that has the example of the asynchronous controller action code. It's under the home controller. That should help you to get all the code you need and help you to start building using CsvDatabase. So like and subscribe, donate, get involved. Have a wonderful day. God bless.